A Fistful of Dollars from 1964, starring Clint Eastwood and Gian Maria Volonte. This is a western, which in itself is a remake of a martial arts film called Yojimbo. The original film was directed by Akira Kurosawa, and I haven't seen it. I'm here to talk about A Fistful of Dollars, directed by Sergio Leone. I got into westerns in a really big way when I was in my teens. I loved the escapism of the whole thing. I was a huge fan of John Wayne, and I was an even bigger fan of Clint Eastwood. In fact, Eastwood would later direct one of my favourite westerns, High Plains Drifter, and it's not hard to tell how much of an impact this film would have on Eastwood's later work. A Fistful of Dollars has a very simple premise. Joe, aka the man with no name, arrives in a town in the middle of the desert. The town itself is torn apart by two families called the Baxters and the Rojos. There has been some conflict going on between these two families for some time. It all involves greed, pride and revenge. Joe, which is what I'm going to call him for the purposes of this video, decides to play the two families off against each other so he can make as much money as possible. From the opening scene, we learn that Joe has an enormous amount of speed and accuracy when it comes to being a gunsman. He kills 4 men who start to taunt him as he arrives in the town, and he does this in the blink of an eye. The main villain in this movie is Roman Rojo. He is played by Gian Maria Volonte. This actor would go on to star as the villain in the second movie in the trilogy, only playing a different character altogether. This is my least favourite in the Dollars trilogy that Sergio Leone directed, and that's not to say that it's a bad movie, because it really isn't. It is a great start to an undeniably great career for Clint Eastwood as a Western star. These films really helped to catapult him into the spotlight in which he plays the leading man. This is an Italian movie, so there is a lot of dubbing, but for me, that always just added to the otherworldly theme that these films had going for them. As would be a trademark of Leone, there are a lot of extreme close-ups that really heighten the tension in the scenes. It is really professionally made, and Eastwood gives a magnificent performance, considering all the Italian actors that he had to work with. It's very well filmed, the cinematography is excellent, and all the actors are really good, particularly Gian Volonte as the main villain. He's not a well-known actor when it comes to a contemporary audience, but my god, can the guy play a good villain. A Fistful of Dollars was a staple movie in the spaghetti western genre, and it deserves to be remembered as the classic film that it is. It is the first in a trilogy of Dollars movies, and it began Clint Eastwood's iconic image of the lone gunslinger at odds with people who don't really know him. I'm giving this film 6-7 out of 10. Like I've said, I do like this film. It's not my favourite in the Dollars trilogy, but I think it really helped set the tone for the later movies. It has characters. The characters are not black and white. They're very much in the grey. The heroes themselves are cold-blooded killers, and people get shot within the blink of an eye. And it really does. It has the dark spaghetti western tone that sets the bar for the later movies in the series. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to be reviewing all 3 of the Dollars movies. If you like what you see, click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.